It's working now.
Oh.
This meeting of the City of Eureka Springs City Council will come to order. The clerk will please call roll.
Vicki Schneider,
Yes.
E. Purkeypile, Joyce Zeller,
Here.
David Mitchell,
Here.
James DeVito,
Here.
Terry McClung.
Here.
We have 5.
Mr. Weaver will be gone. He has some medical issues. He called us about today, and we're hoping that he is okay. So let's stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Brings us to approval of the agenda. Motion to discuss.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Changes, deletions, Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, sir. I think in discussion, unfinished business number 4, based on the attorney's absence, we probably didn't get the additional excluding the library, so we ought to table that.
Second.
Number 6, ordinance for business license for multifamily, we don't have yet, so we should table that.
Second.
Okay.
New business, number 2, Clean City ordinance, we don't have that. It's still with the attorney, so we should table that.
Second.
And then obviously number 3 is that planning, and they haven't brought
Yes.
it, so we should table that.
Okay.
And then possibly, everybody holds your seat, but if we could add the topic of yellow trash bags.
Yellow
There's
trash
a
bags?
Yellow trash bag. I'll leave it at that, but you'll be pleased when you hear it.
You're going to make them green?
Yeah.
I
like
red.
To this agenda?
Oh, second.
Under new business number
whatever.
number 8,
Last thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
second.
Yes, sir.
Trash bags.
yellow trash bags. So goes from the past.
Oh,
Was there a second?
I did.
Okay.
Okay. What about unfinished number 1? Are we going to
We have to reschedule.
redo that or wait until what are we going to do about parking rates? Are we going to have a workshop first, which I gather has been canceled, or what?
We tried to get a workshop together and only had one response, and it was Mr. Purkeypile, and he said he couldn't make it.
No, I said I could.
Okay.
So we need to
Diane?
reschedule.
Okay.
Weekend comes up.
So probably need to postpone it till to get rescheduled.
Second.
Yes, sir.
Item 1 under new business. Hours of operation and animals in C3.
Oh, that needs to be tabled too.
Second.
Don't keep going. We can just go home.
We're
Second.
trying real hard.
Ms. Snyder.
Well, that'll just be,
Yes or no?
we can leave it on. It has to be scheduled.
I would like to add a quick discussion about Bam Bam.
Who?
New business. Bam Bam. Take a minute.
The bear.
Yes.
We do that on council comments.
What is it?
No, it's a discussion for council.
Make it an honorary council person.
Oh, that would be fun.
What are you talking
He's
about?
awesome. Bam Bam
The bear.
What?
Oh,
What
I
is
just-
Bam
Just
Bam?
wait till we get
so
there.
excited.
Is that that?
You actually want to make this an agenda
that little
item?
kid that's on?
You actually want to make this an agenda
Is
item on
it a
number 9?
citizen?
Yes.
Okay.
In the city limit?
I have no clue
Yep.
what you're talking
Is
about.
that
so
that
excited
baby
to hear
somebody
that.
who's
I'm
on
Baby bear.
on the
at
internet?
Turpentine.
Oh, it's a bear. Oh, I thought it was
Bear
that little
Turpentine.
that annoying little
Yeah,
kid that's
Chicago.
on YouTube.
Bears and the Packers are playing. Oh,
right.
that's a second.
Yeah,
Anything
this
else?
is
I want to
We
go
need a second
home.
on that.
I did.
Just
I can't wait to hear it.
okay. So let me recap. Unfinished number 1, number 4, number 6. New business number 1, number 2, number 3. With the addition of number 8, yellow trash bags, and number 9, Bam Bam Bear. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. Any other changes, deletions? Okay. Additions? All right. All in favor of the amended agenda, say aye.
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 Any opposition, say no. It is as it is. Moves us to approval of the minutes for October the 14th, 2013.
Move to approve.
Second.
Made and seconded. Changes, deletion, corrections? If not, all in favor as it is, say aye.
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 Okay. October the 28th. I had October the 14th. So that is for October the 28th.
Yes.
Okay. If not, that moves us on to Commission Committee Authority reports and expired terms. Planning. I don't think there's anybody here for planning. Mike's here for CAPC. Okay, Mike, you have the mic. Mike.
Mr. Mayor, Council, just a brief statement this evening. The City Advertising and Promotion Commission has made a recent personnel change with the elimination of the Special Events Director. In order to maintain professional management of the auditorium, we have moved Rick Bright, our Financial Director, into the auditorium office Monday through Friday afternoon from 1 until 5 p.m. daily, now keeping the auditorium open more for customer relations, ticket sales, and tours. Additionally, we are working through our commission on a volunteer services organization similar to other auditorium and museum venues, such as Crystal Bridges, Walton Arts Center, to help staff periodic events and gatherings. At all times, an official city representative will be on duty. We look forward to the opportunities the City Auditorium will continue to provide the Eureka Springs community, and I thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'll be in my office tomorrow morning.
Thank you, sir. All right. I don't think we have any reports from the hospital parks or SDC or the cemetery. As far as cemetery goes, Mr. Romansky was sworn in today, so he's official now, as far as number 4 goes. Moves us on to public comments. I don't know if we have anybody here for public comments or not. Diane, do we have the public comments? No. Okay, moves us to unfinished business. Number 2, the ordinance 2193, third read. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. DeVito.
Move to suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2193 on its third reading by title only.
The second?
Second.
Okay. Did you say suspend the rules? Okay,
Yes.
so we'll do a roll call.
Vicki Schneider,
Yes.
David Mitchell,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
James DeVito,
Yes.
Joyce Eller.
Yes.
5-0. Ordinance 2193, an ordinance reclaiming authority over part of the unopened portion of Palo Pinto Avenue from the Parks Commission's authority previously granted over green space within the city.
Mr. DeVito.
Move to approve ordinance number 2193 on its third reading.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 You're going to
Because
have
it's the third.
Oh, third.
Third
Okay.
Sorry.
That's right, yeah. We're going to read it. You want to get done quick.
David Mitchell,
Yes.
Joyce Eller,
Yes.
Vicki Schneider,
Yes.
James DeVito,
Yes.
Terry McClung.
Yes.
5-0.
Okay. Takes care of that one. Moves us on to ordinance 2194, be the third read. Motion to discuss.
Motion. Oh,
So moved.
second.
All right. Mr. DeVito.
Move to suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2194 on its third reading by title only.
Second.
All right, stand by for roll call. Get him.
Joyce Eller,
Yes.
James DeVito,
Yes.
Vicki Schneider,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yeah.
David Mitchell,
Yes.
5-0. Ordinance 2194, an ordinance reclaiming authority over part of the unopened portion of Nutt Street from the Parks Commission's authority previously granted over green spaces within the city.
Mr. DeVito.
Move to approve ordinance number 2194 on its third reading.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Third reading.
Roll call.
Oh, third, okay, yes.
And we also need to spot.
I can't get that right.
It's all right. Together we'll...
Too many rules.
Terry McClung,
Yeah.
James DeVito,
Yes.
Joyce Eller,
Yes.
Vicki Schneider,
Yes.
David Mitchell.
Yes.
5-0.
Oh, okay. Let me move on here. Okay. Moves us on to number 5, the ordinance 2195, second read. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Floor is open.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2195 by title only.
Second.
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
That was changed from the initial reading, is that correct?
Yes, and here's the new copy was
had
in
it.
your put in
Right.
your boxes today.
So we should first, well, we should read it, yeah, we should probably just go with a complete reading on the second
Probably
reading.
Okay, I take away my motion.
I'll take away the second.
Okay.
Move to read ordinance number 2195 on its second reading.
Second. It's a long. I second.
We must have changed something.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Ordinance 2195, an ordinance for the creation of a land bank committee for use in disposing of certain unneeded properties and obtaining certain other needed properties and for other purposes. Whereas the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas desires to create a land bank committee and a land bank account to aid in receiving and expending of funds for purchase and disposal of real property deemed to be in the best interest of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and whereas, in order to preserve the unique green spaces and parks of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, for the quiet enjoyment of its residents and visitors, funds resulting from the sale of city property that has no benefit to the city should be expended for the purchase of other properties that will enhance green spaces and parks within the city. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, that Section 1, a land bank committee shall be formed consisting of 7 members. Membership will include the director of the Eureka Springs Parks and Recreation Commission, 1 Eureka Springs alderperson, the director of Eureka Springs Public Works, the director of the Eureka Springs Finance Department, 1 Eureka Springs Parks Commissioner, and 2 at-large members.
Point of order, I'm
Go ahead.
not following that on the new copy.
I am.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, it was in our
And it
box
would have the
just now.
number printed.
Okay, I'm following you on one. I may have had mislabeled then. I'm sorry. I retract that.
Carry on.
Please.
The members will be nominated by the mayor and approved by the city council to serve 2-year terms. Section 2, the land bank committee will review and categorize real property owned by the city into 3 classifications: developable spaces, areas that have reasonable access and are large enough to be used for parking, gardens, parks, or building sites. 2, conforming open spaces, areas adjacent to spring reservations, trails, parks, greenways, or open spaces that contribute to the welfare of the community. 3, non-conforming open spaces, areas that meet none of the above criteria and are typically, but not always, isolated single lots or parts of lots of no value to the city. Section 3, the Land Bank Committee may bring non-conforming open spaces to the city from time to time for authorization by ordinance for sale of said property in accordance with City Code and Arkansas state statutes. That any funds received from such sales shall be held in the land bank account. That all funds held in that line item shall remain in that line item until spent, irrespective of the length of time which may pass. Should the City Council see fit to dissolve the Land Bank Committee at some future date, said funds would be transferred to the City General Fund. Section 4. The funds in the Land Bank account shall be expended only in accordance with the direction of the Land Bank Committee with approval of the City Council. Section 5. The Land Bank Committee will bring other real property to the City Council from time to time, property which the committee deems to be in the best interest of the city to purchase or lease as part of an ordinance authorizing the purchase or lease of said properties with funds held in the Land Bank account. Section 6. The finance director of the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, is hereby directed to create a budget line item for the establishment of a land bank account. Section 7. Resulting funds from the sale or lease of streets and alleys located in the 320 acres of Eureka Springs, which have been deeded to the city, will be deposited in the land bank account. Section 8. The land bank account may also be funded through private donations made specifically for the acquisition of real property and easements. Section 9. Any appraisal costs, survey costs, or other attendant costs in the sale or acquisition of real property associated with the land bank committee will be funded from the land bank account unless said expenses are paid by the buying and or selling party with whom the city is engaged. Section 10. All ordinances and resolutions and parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 11. Provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared to be separable, and if any provision shall for any reason be held illegal or invalid, such holding shall not affect the validity of the remainder of this ordinance.
Mr. DeVito.
Move to approve ordinance number 2195 on its second reading.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Yes, sir?
Can we discuss a little bit,
yes, go
please?
ahead.
Okay. Number 2, the conforming open spaces. I mean, in Section 3, well, that's the definition part. In the Section 3, it's saying that the land committee may from time to time bring non-conforming open spaces to the city council, and I don't like the fact that they're limiting the availability of possibly selling conforming properties, which may not be of any particular use to the city, but might be an income producer for the city. So I don't think it should necessarily be limited to non-conforming open spaces that could be made available for sale. And then secondly, the Section 7, I still have a real problem with this in that we have something going on right now with Ojo and Nut Street. One is in the 320, one is not. They're both inside the city. They have exactly the same services. There's no difference between the property. They fall under the same jurisdiction of the city. However, in that 320 acres, because that alleyways or streets are actually owned by the city, that property owner is having to pay a premium to get that bought back from the city or to get it vacated by the city, and it's just not fair. It's just not equality for our citizenry at all. Just because the city has ownership to it, it still is the property. It wouldn't be being done if it wasn't absolutely worthless. And, I think it's an unfair charge onto the property owner and taxpayer.
Ms. Snyder.
Okay, wasn't that the part that the city attorney said at the last meeting, that we had easements on outside of the three? No, just bear with me. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can we maybe put in a time limit? In other words, if a piece of property has changed hands in recent years or several times, obviously the original property owner didn't, I don't know how to say this. If I've had a piece of property for 100 years and the city has a lease that obviously we don't pay on this lease, we just have the rights to it, and I want to end the lease, if I haven't gotten any money, the city wouldn't have to do anything. But if it's changed hands repeatedly, if this piece of property has been sold 4 or 5 times, then those people should have to act like the 320. Do you see what I'm saying?
Doesn't work that way.
That's what I'm asking. Okay. So we can't put a time or ownership limit? We just have to plain make it all or none? Is this what you're saying? I mean, because I agree with the unfairness.
That's exactly what it is. It is an unfair charge levy against people that own property in the 320 acres.
Well, so are you leaning towards no charge at all, or to also
No,
charging
they can. What I think it should be is that there should be a fee, a charge for all of them for the application fee, whatever you want to call it, and that's it. No more. It's inequality.
Okay.
Mr. DeVito?
Two parties can't own the same piece of property. The city owns the property. The other case is an easement, which the property owners 100 years ago, between the city, established an easement. In the 320 acres, the city owns that property.
Yeah, but
So-
what Terry's saying is right. It's still all city limits.
Well,
Ms. Allen?
I don't quite understand this then. If I own a piece of property in the city and there's an old street that has been platted through there, but it's never been a street, it's all overgrown and it's full of grass and everything, but it goes through my property, I don't own that street or that property. The city owns it. And if I want to sell my property, can I sell it while the city owns that piece and it just doesn't get included in the deed? Is that what we're trying to straighten out here?
If I may. No.
Yeah.
What it is the original 320 acres, when it was platted,
Yeah.
it was the streets and alleys were deeded to the city. It was just and the lot lines were to the lot lines as the map defines them. Now, in subsequent subdivisions that were added to that, even in those early years, and it's typically done today, is that your property line actually goes to the center of the street.
Ah, okay.
And I can't say for sure that that's what was done in the Freeman edition and the Clayton edition, or Magnetic Bays, but I mean the owners may have retained that. However, the city has charge of all the streets, whether they're owned by the city or whether they are owned by the property owners and just easement. But the city still controls and has to give that back to the property owner by vacation, by the right of
Okay.
vacation.
Okay.
So it's equal. No matter what, whether you own the street or don't own, or the city owns the street, the process is equal for both.
Okay.
The rights of the city, the control the city has, is the same for both.
Okay.
In complete and absolute control of those streets. So, in all fairness, it's just not right.
Okay, so you're contending that we shouldn't be selling this stuff. We should just have a fee for vacation.
Yes,
That's it.
yes. There
Okay, I
should
see.
be a charge, an application charge, and if it goes through, yes, there should be that. But as far as setting a value and charging, a per lot, no, sir.
Okay, I can see that. I can agree with that.
Mr. Mitchell, you had your hand up first. Sir.
Yeah, I don't think I'm agreeing with that. I think if the city owns it, the city has the right to sell it, and I'm comfortable with the way it is.
Okay, Ms. Schneider, you're next.
Ms. Clerk, do you have any idea what the application fee is offhand?
There's another one.
Oh, there isn't one. Would you then have a figure in mind
There is
for
a charge.
standard?
I think there is some kind of fee. I think.
Mr. Gunnell would know.
That,
Did you have to pay anything?
There was no fee.
No
When
fee,
the process
okay.
started, there's always been a fee at the end.
What kind of fee at the end?
From what our research was, it was anywhere from 200 to 800.
Oh, that's the buying of the land. Yeah,
Mr.
okay.
that's presently what planning has been working on and asking us to get on the agenda, is to establish a fee for vacations.
And of course, they're not here tonight.
So this doesn't refer to that. That's a separate issue altogether. That doesn't refer to what's before us right now.
Okay, do you have a figure in mind before this?
No,
Point of order.
Yes.
That's a separate issue. We're discussing what's before us right now. There's an
Yeah,
appropriate
item
time for
7.
that discussion. It is not right now.
All right, then I make a motion that we postpone this until planning gets back to us, or we can get our act together and have a workshop or something.
For a second?
well, I second that. I certainly will not vote for it with that in there, in that way.
Okay, so now we vote.
Discussion.
Mr. DeVito?
This is the second reading, correct?
Yes, sir.
We can go ahead and read it a second time. We've still got a third reading where we can get this all worked out. Let's just go ahead and read this the second time. We're up to the vote part. We've had the reading, the discussion, and let's go ahead and vote on it on the second time. We can, if we change this with advice from the city attorney, we can always do that before the third reading.
Any other discussion? All right. We can do this on a roll call vote.
Well, a vote needs to happen on this to postpone in a second.
Do I need to
that
withdraw
the
my
first motion?
postpone?
If you want to withdraw it, but right now there's,
Do I need to withdraw that?
Do whatever you want to do.
Ms. Ella, go ahead.
This doesn't, this ordinance that we have here does not say that we are selling that property or that we are setting any price
does.
on the property,
It
does it?
specifies the 320.
Where is this? Where
Number
it says
7,
this?
second page.
On the second page, number 7.
Specifies 320.
Resulting funds from the sale or lease of streets and alleys, but it doesn't.
In the 320.
But it doesn't direct that the land bank committee, or it doesn't direct who decides what these funds are, or what the price would be. It doesn't have anything to do with
Terry's
that.
It's already been established.
Terry's contention is that we're not including outside the 320, that there's a separation there.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. Okay, so somewhere else, someone has the authority to decide what this property is worth. Is that what you're telling me?
They have it at $200 per lot, per owner, or the appraised value, whichever is higher,
Okay.
is what it is. But what Mickey was just inferred that I'm trying to bring it into par like the 320. That's not right.
Okay.
What I think, there should be no charge for the vacation of properties.
Okay.
Okay, but
Streets of ours.
equally in city limits, period,
No,
not just
should not be.
320.
No.
All right,
No
we have,
separation, okay.
we have a motion on the table
Which one?
to postpone
Oh.
until let's see, till this is worked out. Mickey made the motion and Terry made the second. Any changes on that? Any withdrawals? If not, we'll go ahead and vote on it. All in favor, say aye.
I'd rather get it settled before voting.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
Okay.
No,
so
wait,
we had 3
I'm an aye.
yeses.
we're
And 2
voting
noes.
to postpone. Is that what we're doing?
Yes, until we can get it straightened
Okay,
out.
Yes, we are voting to
I'll vote a
postpone.
yes on postponing. Yeah.
So it's 3-2.
Yeah, we postpone. Till we
Okay,
get
so
this changed.
4-2.
Okay.
4-2 for what? What did we vote?
To
Okay.
postpone the issue
Okay.
until those details are worked out.
All right,
Okay.
that moves us on to number 7, ordinance 2196, second read.
Motion to discuss.
Made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 On second read, yeah.
Yeah.
No, wait, no. That was to discuss, and we need a motion.
To buy that title only.
I'll move to suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2196 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. And we will do a roll call. Suspension of the rules.
Ordinance 2196, an ordinance rezoning 80 Mountain Street from R1 to C3. Oh, sorry.
This is where we meet once.
Okay. Joyce Eller,
What is
to
it?
suspend the rules and read it.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
yes.
I goofed you up, I'm sorry.
Okay.
David Mitchell,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yeah.
James DeVito.
Yes.
Vicki Schneider.
No.
No?
Go. Yes.
Yes works.
5-0. Now,
Okay.
ordinance 2196, an ordinance rezoning 80 Mountain from R1 to C3.
Mr. DeVito.
Move to approve ordinance 2196 on its second reading.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. We move on. Okay. Moves us on to number 8, be ordinance 2197, third read. Motion to discuss.
So moved. Second.
Mr. DeVito.
Move to suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2197 on its third reading by title only.
Second.
Do we have that one? The new group tour franchise ordinance? Is
Yes.
that what we're looking
We
for?
put the ordinance on it last week.
That one.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
number on
Yep.
it.
Okay, sorry about that.
David Mitchell,
Yes.
Joyce Eller,
Yes.
Vicki Schneider,
Yes.
James DeVito,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yeah.
5-0. Ordinance 2197, an ordinance amending Chapter 4.20, Group Tour Franchises.
Mr. DeVito.
Move to approve ordinance number 2197 on its third reading.
Second.
All right, stand by, roll call.
Joyce Eller,
Yes.
James DeVito,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Vicki Schneider,
Yes.
David Mitchell,
Yes.
5-0.
Okay. Okay. Moves us into new business. Number 1, 2, and 3 have been postponed, and moves us to number 4, workshop downtown parking facility. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Floor is open. Who wants to throw in? Mr.
I
DeVito.
guess it's just a matter of getting everybody's schedule down so we can set up a workshop.
Defer to our illustrious leader. Contact us.
I am.
Yes. Say Diane.
There you go.
Illustrious leader, yes.
Okay, we'll get one set up.
Do I have
Yes, ma'am.
do we have any old feasibility studies we've done on this subject? I mean,
Yes.
I think there is some
Do we-
history. Mr. DeVito should have
because
complete knowledge of that one.
I don't imagine the economy or the situation has changed much since then. So if we have a feasibility study, if we have a copy of it, we could refer to it so we don't have to keep going over the same territory over and over again. Because as I remember before, because this thing had to be funded with revenue bonds, we had discovered that it was not financially feasible at that time, if I remember. Now, I may not be remembering it.
That's not correct.
No? Okay. Okay, I stand corrected.
Mr. DeVito, go ahead. Ms. Snyder, stand by.
We never got that far.
Oh.
We were talking with the bonding agents at the time, and then a referendum initiative petition came out, and that was it. So
Okay.
it stopped it in place. There is a study done by Missouri State University on parking in downtown that Beverly referred to, and that sits with the city clerk. She
Oh.
has that study.
Okay.
That's really the only valid study that's available with statistics on the need for parking.
Okay.
Mr. McClung?
Just to add to that, there was a lot of work done by James, Dave Jeffrey, Kate Gladden,
Jim Nelson.
On this project. So there is a lot of material that could probably be made available should we decide to press on. Press on.
Ms. Knight, go ahead.
I know Dee had a lot of information that he was compiling in regards to other financial venues for footing the bill for this and so on and so forth. So I would suggest that we postpone this until he's available, and/or let's schedule a workshop when he is available, because he's got the majority of the info.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Postpone. Okay, moves us to number 5, the auditorium agreement. Motion to discuss.
Moved. So moved.
Second.
Okay. My understanding is that in the agreement, there is a 90-day period in which, unless we have any opposition to what's going on at the auditorium house being run, that it just rolls over, automatically renews. So, and that's my understanding as to what has happened now. So, the only thing is I think they were wanting more parking spaces than the agreement calls for, which is only 2. Is it not correct? Go ahead.
It's not the city gives them 2 parking spaces
Yeah.
for the auditorium. It's not in the agreement. It's just something we did verbally. And this past year with all the parking issues, we just thought we would add in 4 additional spaces when needed, when asked from the mayor's office for musicians or whatever. But at this time, we're just going to leave it as is without the parking spaces. And if the CAPC wants to pursue it, they'll let us know.
You mean with 0?
No, we just give them 2 automatically.
But that's not in
That's not in the contract. That is just.
So it's just a verbal agreement.
It's a
and so
verbal
there's
agreement that we
0.
wanted to put, the city wanted to put it in writing because of change out of personnel. And this was like 3 weeks ago, and I talked to Michael Maloney, and it's just to have it in black and white, stating the policy for parking for the staff or musicians and stuff like that. So it's not it's a big change to the agreement, but not with just personnel policy between us. So, but at this time, when I talked to Ragsdale, he said if they want to amend it, they'll come back and bring it to us since it automatically rolled over.
Mr. Mitchell.
In the agreement, I can't remember, I don't have mine with me, there's what I usually call a cut and run clause. That's a cancellation on either party with notice. I forget what that is. 60 days, 90 days or something? 90 days.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I just wanted to be sure it was in there.
Any other questions? Comments?
In light of their firing their director, we're just agreeing to do the maintenance on the building. But what concerns me is if the CAPC gets into trouble with their tax collections and they start running a deficit on this, the city eventually becomes responsible for paying these bills. And I kind of, I'm not unacquainted with this problem because I had been on the CAPC for 4 years and we were writing contracts and all that sort of thing. And managing this facility is a complicated thing, and I would like to see some kind of a plan in place for competent management before we agree to doing too much here. I mean, what do they plan for this? So they fired their director, and I know in the last this man, and I'm not taking sides here or trying to get into an argument, but the man that was running this apparently seemed to know what he was doing. And we have had disastrous results with people in charge of this building who did not know what they were doing, and they ran horrendous deficits. And I want to know what their plans are for the competent management of this building so they don't get themselves into trouble again like they were before.
Mr. Mitchell.
I think my understanding of the CAPC is it's not beholding in any way to council or the city. We have two representatives that represent the city on the council, and I don't think we obviously want to go anywhere near the CAPC's personnel issues. That's their thing to deal with. However, the contract has very clearly, I'll use the words again, the cut and run clause of 90 days, and I think that's the protection for the city at this point.
The chairman of the commission is here, Mr. Ragsdale. Would you like to make a comment, sir?
Sure, I just wanted to come in to help be able to answer any questions.
Come on up to the mic, and they may have some questions for you.
Be glad to answer any questions. I do have a short game plan for you if you'd like to hear it,
yeah,
Joyce.
that's what concerns me. Is there any plan, or was this just, well, we'll appoint a committee? Because we've had some disasters on our hands otherwise. I mean, the auditorium has been in the past run by a committee, and it didn't work.
Well, there was actually a long series of meetings about the auditorium a couple of years ago where we did discuss the potential of setting up an auditorium commission. The committee did vote unanimously to create such a commission. The city council at that time declined to do so and suggested instead that that the CAPC turn it over to a committee to run entirely. We didn't feel that that was possible based upon concerns similar to what you had. So as we started going through trying to figure out the best way of supporting the events and the building itself, it came clear that most major auditoriums like this have a very substantial volunteer base to actually help do the events themselves. In doing so, it became clear that we were spending quite a bit of CAPC funds for jobs that traditionally were done at the auditorium by volunteers with minimal management from someone. Now that has changed over the years. The CAPC has now managed it on behalf of this, or for the city, for several years now, and in some of those years, we had a substantial staff. We reduced the staff, and as that came about, more and more duties were being done by volunteers. So what we figured that the primary role for the CAPC is to run the advertising and promotion of the city, but they had agreed, and we had already had a renewal of our contract to continue the operation of the auditorium on behalf of the city. What we felt that we could do is utilize underutilized employees like Rick Bright, who was constantly saying he had extra time available and was wanting additional responsibilities and duties. And we were also getting a lot of complaints that the office of the auditorium wasn't open on a timely basis for ticket sales during the week, even during some weekends and during very large events. So we've been really trying to figure out how we could do so without increasing the amount of money that the CAPC has been spending on it. Contrary to some rumors out there, the city does not pay the CAPC $36,000 a year to run or manage the auditorium. There's a lot of misinformation out there, so I did want to be able to come in at this point and basically say the management contract with the city requires that the CAPC operate the facility on a daily basis. To accomplish this, the CAPC staff will provide core management and promotion of the auditorium and its events. They will be advised and assisted by an auditorium committee, which was suggested from the City Council prior, giving valuable community input on how to best use and improve the facility. It will also give an active volunteer base. More importantly, some have expressed interest in helping raise funds for badly needed maintenance and improvements. The members of the committee can come from not only from within Eureka Springs, but from its environs as well. Some of the great people that have expressed interest in serving have festival and event production experience. Others have stage and lighting experience. Some have experience gathering corporate sponsors. Others are eager to do things just simple as cleaning and painting. Some are musicians. Some are music fans. Some are artists. Some are art lovers. Some have been volunteers for years and have been instrumental in mounting the vast majority of those shows for the last 2 decades. Some are new to town and are eager to help because they, like all of us, love and value that building so much. Volunteers will not be taking over the auditorium. With the exception of one person, everyone else who has been instrumental in the shows for the past several years remain the same. The press releases, the management of the sound, the technical staff, the people that sell the concessions, the people that unlock and close the doors, the vast majority of those people are all still in place, running and doing it. We're going to have the executive director develop marketing plans to promote the auditorium to potential promoters, musical acts, theater groups, and other potential users of the facility. The staff of the CAPC will help implement those plans. The executive director, committee members, and CAPC staff will all solicit performers, promoters, groups, special events, and provide advertising and promotional support for those events, as we have for years now. The executive director, finance director, and technical director will all review the proposed contracts for accuracy and compliance with city and CAPC policies and to ensure that all rider and contract provisions can be fulfilled. The technical director and house manager, who have been in place for years there, will assure that all technical and artist hospitality riders are fulfilled. As chairman of the CAPC, it has always been my responsibility to execute the contracts of the commission, including contracts for use of the auditorium. This policy will not change. The committee and CAPC staff will develop competitive rate structures for various types of users that can use the facility, including a discount for nonprofit and community use to help encourage the use of the building. We want to encourage that use because we know that it attracts visitors to Eureka Springs, and it can also be a great asset for our city. Monthly meetings will be held at the auditorium. Public notice of all committee meetings will be made by Paula Martin, who already does so for other CAPC meetings. All interested parties are welcome to attend, and anyone that would like to be onto the committee, please submit to me. I will take that into consideration, make nominations, and the CAPC Commission will approve the members of that committee. Yes, sir.
Well, Charles, you used the term "we" in a lot of decisions that were made here recently that as part of the CAPC Commission, I guess I missed some meetings.
Those decisions, when I'm saying we, these are things for the future. The decision to change the management of the auditorium was made by Mike Maloney as the executive director.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about all this later.
Yeah.
I just want to clear up something that you made. What you said about $36,000 sounded familiar to me. It might be a misquote. When I talked to the finance director about this last week, I asked him, Milani, how much does the auditorium cost the city? And he said, what we're responsible for costs about $36,000 a year. I did not say that the city gave the CAPC $36,000 to manage the auditorium. I said that our share of the bills that we pick up amounted to about $36. Now, that was a ballpark figure, so don't hold Lonnie to that dollars and cents. But I was not suggesting that the city council is giving the CAPC any money to manage the auditorium.
I appreciate you helping clear that up because we were just flabbergasted when we read that.
Well, you just didn't read it carefully enough.
It wasn't your quote. It was someone else quoting it.
Okay, because what I think
I
had said,
misinterpreted
and I'm
it.
referring to my posting on DCAS, the city kicks in about $36,000 a year. And that's what I meant. We pick up, the gas and something else, insurance?
Actually, the CAPC pays the city rent for use of the office there even.
Yeah, well, whatever. Some bills come across Lonnie's desk and he pays them.
Mr. Mitchell, do you
Yes.
have a question?
Anytime you are in a business and you start dealing with personnel, and especially in a small town like this, it becomes very touchy, is the way to put it. And the personnel issues reside with the director and or the CAPC and the board and over there.
Actually, with the director for all of his staff.
And they really don't fit in council. Our only purpose is the use of the building and its maintenance, and then the bottom line, if all of a sudden it starts costing the city more money than that $36,000 for any particular reason, we again, as per contract, have an out and to exercise should we wish. So,
Any further questions? Any further questions of Mr. Ragsdale? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. If nothing else on that, we'll move to number 6, discussion of planning commission procedures for vacating property. Motion to discuss. Second. Floor is open. Mr. DeVito.
Well, there's really not much to discuss here without Beverly, and that was part of the process, was to establish a fee for that. So I would move to table this till the
Second.
next meeting.
Second.
And second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Brings us to number 7, art wall renewal. I'll put that on there.
What's that?
It's time to renew our art wall down on First Street. Diane,
motion to
can-
discuss?
Second.
Yeah. Diane will fill you in on.
Yeah. The council approved a resolution a couple of years ago about letting the Arts Council use the art wall on First Street and North Main for public art, and it's just expired. It's time to be renewed again, and Mr. Weaver will produce a resolution if y'all support it or not. But basically, that's all it is. It's just asking to continue using.
But they still want to.
Oh, yes. We still want to do it, so that when the resolution is, when Weaver gets back, I'll have a resolution regarding that.
Any further on that one? Okay. Was this the number 8, Mr. Yellowbag, or Yellowbag, Mr. Mitchell? No, not Mr. Yellowbag, sorry about that.
Better that way.
Yellowwood.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Okay. Floor is open.
Well, I have to tell you, this is, I just hated when my neighbor brought that word to me. I cringed, but I moved on because he told me he had talked to the mayor, luckily. And it was very nice. Bill Wilson, my neighbor, who's is just a sweet gentleman, has been looking into this, and he came to me with the issue, and I said, if you want to research it and really look into it and get all the information and bring it back to me, I'll be glad to take it to council. It's a little deja vu, but I'll do it. So what the issue is not yellow bags or not having to pay. It's the issue of right now the yellow bags have those ties, those twist ties, and you have to pull the bag up and then twist tie it and everything. And he was interested to see if we could look into the bags that were drawstring, where you just pull up on it. He has really researched this quite well and found out that there's 10% more volume in a drawstring at the top, even in the small and the large bags. So in essence, he even called our supplier, Mr. Roy Doolittle, who's the rep that does this, and found out that the factory actually is the one that makes the drawstring bags in the first place. When they make our bags with the twisties and everything, it's not necessarily a run that they have. Likewise, it would not cost, based on what he discovered from Mr. Roy Doolittle, it would not cost the city any more money to purchase those bags. So if everybody does not disagree, and since our mayor sits on the Carroll County Waste, if I'm correct?
That is correct.
I would like to allow, if it's possible, to allow the mayor to, if there's no increase or anything, to just make the change for the citizens, from a twist tie to a drawstring.
They're easier to handle, too.
And they would be easier for older folks.
It would be easier, absolutely. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
that's the whole thing.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Any further discussion on it? Okay, we'll check on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Do what?
Do you want a second?
Oh, yeah,
I'll
if you want to
second
vote on it. Okay.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Do we need to move to tell somebody to do that, or is that
No,
going to
you-
be? Oh,
You just did.
He'll just
Okay.
do it.
All right, number 9 is Bam Bam Bear. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second?
Second. I
Floor is
can't
open.
wait to hear this.
All right.
As most of y'all probably know, Turpentine Creek let Bam Bam the bear finally touch ground this last Sunday. This young grizzly, who's like as big as this table, had never, ever, ever, ever touched real ground. And to watch him slowly come out of his enclosure, just barely touching and then going, whoa, and enjoying and stuff. Everybody who was there was just blown away by this bear's reaction. Bam Bam is like one of the number one animals, I guess I have to say that, just animals at Turpentine Creek. Turpentine Creek, believe it or not, is like our number one tourist draw, which is very surprising to me. I knew they were way up there. I didn't realize they were number one, but they are. I think in view of all that Turpentine Creek has done in the last 22 years, the amount of people it has brought, the amount of locals who are involved in all this, and as precious as Bam Bam was, you just wanted to hug this little grizzly bear, like I said, as big as this table. But it was so awe-inspiring to see this happen. This is what EUREKA's about. I would like to know if it would be possible to do a resolution, proclamation, whatever it is, to make November 3rd Bam Bam Day. You weren't there. You had to see it. It was incredible. But, I mean, you know, really, Bam Bam will continue to do an awful lot for this city. All of the animals out there have. But I would just like to see if we can proclaim November 3rd Bam Bam Day. Or the first Sunday in November, Bam Bam Day. That's a motion. Okay.
Which one was it? The November 3rd or the first?
To make it the first Sunday in November designated as Bam Bam Day in honor of Turpentine Creek and all their effort.
And I'll second
All in favor, say aye.
that. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Animal haters.
2 no's over here.
Will they,
Proclamation doesn't cost us anything.
For people, yes. For animals, no. Sorry.
I understand they have a video of,
Oh, yes.
well, I tried to pull that up and it didn't work.
I'm not sure when that will be ready, but it will be ready soon. But I had to watch 4029 News last night so my husband could see the footage.
Moving right along.
The vote is 3-2.
I don't know. I think declaring that is in keeping with our
I
uniqueness.
think we can do this without actually going into a lot of foo-for-rah, so.
That's
yeah.
what I said, a
Like
piece of
a
paper.
Yes, yes,
Proclamation or something?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, just a piece
Yes,
of paper,
yeah.
yeah.
Sort of fits in with our
All right,
image.
yes, it is, yes.
Hey,
Okay.
thank you.
Moves us on to agenda setting, Mr. DeVito.
I would like an item on the next agenda of forming an auditorium commission. Can I get an amen?
Yeah,
A second?
I'll give you that. Yes, second.
Okay.
Is the CAPC going to do that, or are we?
That's our
We'll have to
job.
do it here.
Oh, okay. We're not raining on their parade.
Anything
Okay.
else?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. McClung,
Nothing.
Mr. Mitchell,
Nothing.
well, Mr. Purkeypile, nothing. Mr. Snyder,
No, I did my Bam Bam.
Ms. Eller,
No, I don't have anything.
City Council comments, Mr. DeVito.
Gee, I'm plumb tuckered out from the last few weeks. We've had some of the best business our restaurant's had in 28 years, and I'd like to thank all parties that were responsible for that. That's all, folks.
Mr. McClung,
It's great to be alive. Thank you.
Mr. Mitchell.
Just a couple things. The Boy Scouts, and I was asked to bring up that the Boy Scouts food drive for the Flint Street mission is to take place this coming week, I think Sunday. And the second one is the noise, this Saturday, I'm sorry. The Noise Committee includes myself, Steve Beecham, Mark Hughes, Krista Kendricks, Jeff Thatch, Al Frost, Fatima from Pied Piper, and Max Boinstein, along with Mike Bishop. We'll be meeting this Wednesday night. We're still accepting input at this point, just preliminarily stuff about noises or any concerns people have. Please either use our email or contact any of us in person. As soon as we get a working draft ordinance that we can give to the papers and share, we will do that, and then we will also hold more open, or not that our meetings aren't public anyway, but we'll definitely be more open to the public to really receive comments, which would be more appropriate to wait until the draft working ordinance is developed. But up to that point, we'll certainly interested in anybody's feedback, and we are getting quite a bit. So thank you.
Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
Mr. Purkeypile is out. Mr. Snyder?
Just to remind everybody, Friday kicks off all the veterans activities for the weekend. We will be having the Bragging Rights Hamburger Cook-Off Friday at Pine Mountain Jamboree. Not the Jamboree, at the Village. It's been a long weekend. That'll be Friday night at Pine Mountain Jamboree is the Stars and Stripes fundraiser for the flags honoring all veterans of all times who, because of them, we get to sit here or in our homes and on our phones and on our computers. We owe them everything. Let's see a little support there. Saturday will be the Picket in the Park, which is stringed instrument stuff going on. We'll have face painting at Pine Mountain Village again for the kids. Sunday is the art show at Caribe and the Marine Ball and Veterans Ball at, I think it's Jack's Place, Sunday evening from 5 o'clock on. Monday, of course, is the Veterans Parade. We step off at the library at 10, go as far as the Historic Museum where we will do the 21 gun salute in honor of and then have the meet and greet. I hope everybody joins in at some point in all of this, please. We owe them our country and our lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ellie?
No, I need to know the status of the meeting on Wednesday. Are we having a meeting?
Yeah.
Maybe we should announce if we are not having a parking fee meeting. Or have we decided
workshop
we're doing
on
that? Yeah, the workshop.
on
Because I
Wednesday.
had gotten some emails from people interested in when this was going to happen. So maybe we need to make.
It'll have to be rescheduled.
Okay, so
So we're
that's kind of
canceling
like.
Wednesday the 6th.
And we're sort of officially announcing it now, that there's not going to be a meeting. Okay, no, that's all I have.
Okay. Only thing I have outside of the events is if you haven't had a chance to go out and drive on Leatherwood Lake Road, Leatherwood Lake Park Road, you need to do it.
It's
It
done?
is a super highway now.
Ooh.
Short of just some cosmetics, which is building up the shoulders on the sides, it's as level as this table and it's smooth. All the way into the park.
Wow.
Whoa. I've never
they-
seen it like
They
that.
worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to get this done. Go out and drive on it. And now remember, while you're driving on this, speed limit's only 25 miles an hour. Because it's easier to get a lot faster now, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But I think of all the waiting and cajoling and poking and prodding and jumping up and down and screaming and hollering and praying that's been done over this issue, we have a very great entrance to our Lake Leatherwood Park now. So anybody go out there and just drive on it and you'll see how great it is. And more good things are supposed to be coming for the Lake Leatherwood project. But right now, we got what we need to get done. That was the entrance to it. And we
That's
don't lose any
cool.
cars in potholes or break up shock absorbers anymore. As far as events goes, November the 7th through the 10th is Food and Wine Weekend. November the 11th is Veterans Day. City offices will be closed. November the 11th, Veterans Parade at 10 o'clock. November the 15th through the 17th is the Fall Antique Show. Do we know where? Fall Antique Show? In the Ozarks, okay. November the 18th is B.B. King Concert at the Auditorium. November the 19th, Doggy Style Show. And November the 23rd is Heartland Men's Choir, 7 p.m. Auditorium. Motion to this.
Wait, council meeting, 25th?
Next council meeting is the 25th, I believe, yes.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Well, we are adjourned.